All right, so we have a little bit of tea, just a little bit of tea on the new season of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, some of this is coming to us via a trusted source in TV Deets, and then some of this is coming from the cast themselves. Then we got an actual little bit more tea on Married to Medicine as well, both of which will be out on Bravo on November the 5th. Okay. So it'll be back-to-back premiere. I think the episode of Potomac will be about an hour and 15 minutes, and then the episode of Married to Medicine will follow directly after that. I'll be interested to see who's on Watch What Happens Live first. Usually, out the gate, they have either the person who has like the biggest storyline, or they go with usually who they consider the face of the show. So I will be interested in seeing who they actually bring in first with Married to Medicine. Will it be Phaedra? Will it be Dr. Heavenly? Or will it be Dr. Jackie? Because I feel like they really go hard for Dr. Jackie with Married to Medicine and the network. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. And then with Potomac, who will it be? Will it be Robin, who is set to have a big, her storyline, I'm sure, is going to be one of the biggest for the new season. Will it be Mia, whose marriage is kind of in play right now, with this whole separation? Or will it be Giselle, who is typically, like I said, the face of the show? But I don't know, y'all. Candace is definitely, I feel like the network is really rallying behind Candace, who also, she always has a big season. So I'm going to be interested to see who they bring on Watch What Happens Live first. I think that's going to tell us a little bit how the season will be shaping up. Okay. So let's get to the tea. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. I am making it my mission to make sure that these shows that we love are like the top rated shows. Like, that's my goal. Like, I want Potomac and Married to Medicine. I want these shows to like kill it this season, especially Married to Medicine, because I feel like they never really get the true glory that they deserve, right? So anyway, let's get the tea from my friends over at TV Deets, and be sure to check out the TV Deets podcast, because I'm sure he's going to go into detail about this premiere. Now, though some of us get screeners for different shows for different networks, right? Now, I personally do not get screeners for NBC Universal shows. I have been invited to premieres and that sort of thing, but I've not been privy to the screeners. So TV Deets, luckily for us, has gotten a teaser. Okay, been able to catch the screening for the premiere episode. Says really enjoyed the Real Housewives of Potomac premiere. Things feel fresh, looks are on point, and the women don't hold back when it comes to Robin and Juan. We finally hear from Juan in his own words, and it will certainly have viewers talking. That to me is exciting enough right there. I do want to know what Juan has to say. I don't know if you guys, was it Carlos King that said this? Or was it, or did I say it? I don't know who. Somebody said this, okay, that Juan is gonna have to do some talking. Okay. If they are to come back, Juan's gotta do some talking, and I need to hear what he got to say, because TVD says in the caption, I've seen the Real Housewives of Potomac premiere and it will not disappoint. Things you think things are messy now, just wait until November the 5th. What could he be saying that's going to make things messy? Or will it be something that the cast is also saying that's making things messy? Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. And are you looking forward to it? Because for me, I got to tell y'all, I'm only going to be excited about listen, I try to go into every new season with a fresh vantage point. It is very difficult for me with the Robin of it all, because I do feel like, my issues with Robin in the past have been, one, I feel like she puts herself behind Giselle, and it makes her feel like she's more of a friend to the show than a main character. Character. But I also feel like with her also keeping her story off the show, which I can admit, who probably would really want to air that out, right? Because it's embarrassing. So I get that part of it. But I also say, in not telling your own story, you also continue to set yourself up as a secondary character. That has been one of my biggest issues with Robin. And her demanding that other cast members put everything out there, but unwilling to do the same. Those have been my issues, right? So in order for her to come back into this mix, I am going to need to see actual story, okay? Actual story. So if we're looking at this as sort of a teaser of what's to come, maybe we will be getting actual story. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of story, I think we know also who the teams are in this particular season. Okay. So, what do I mean by teams, right? Because I feel like, you know, you don't really see this with every cast, but I think it's definitely the case. Remember how you had the talls versus the smalls back in the day with Atlanta? I feel like we are definitely getting like two different like teams here. Okay. And so, because I feel like the ladies have put this out there, not really put it out there, but I feel like you just can't help but think this, right? With what I'm about to show you. So let's get into it. All right, head on over to Dr. Wendy Acefo's page, and these photos are everywhere at this point. Karen has posted them. I think I'm still blocked by Candace, so I can't really see her page. And that's fine because listen, people have to protect their peace. I'm blocked by Robin, and I also say again, I don't really feel like I mean, it at this point in time now, in my journey in this space, I try to be a lot more politically correct, but also still honest with my viewpoints, but never to be hurtful or malicious, right? Those are not my goals. My goals are really to bring attention to these shows that we love, to continue the narrative, to talk about the things that are going on, and to provide you my commentary from the perspective of someone who has worked in news, but also done reality TV as well, and also to share commentary with the fan community that I feel like I could not find, in my day-to-day life, right? So, having said that, I do understand when somebody, they just listen, I don't want to see your stuff, and I don't want to see what you're saying, and I get it. Protect your peace at all costs, and I respect it, right? But my opinion of Candace has also changed over the course of time. So that's, it is what it is. Um, Having said that, we have Team A right here. Okay. Wendy says tight circle, no squares. And then we have a little commentary.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a video.
It's a video.
She didn't tell us what's
Look at my babes.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good
Good
night.
See you soon.
We're coming soon.
Very soon. Karen, where you going?
Karen was like, bye.
Karen.
I don't think you guys can take but so much.
Oh, I know that's right.
You're not ready.
Okay, so that is what we will call Team A. Okay. Are you a Team A? Or might you be a Team B? Okay. Now, Team B, who does this consist of? Team B was also out yesterday. It seems like both teams were out and about yesterday, or at least the timing of all of this photo and video evidence seems to really solidify that point. So you have in this group, you have Mia, and the ladies were out. This is called the Emancipation of Mia. This was featured on new cast member Nneka's IG stories. You have Charisse, you have Robin, you have Giselle, you have Mia, you have Ashley, and you have Nneka, of course. So, I'm always like, well, the timing of both of these groups being out, it's definitely given promo, but I'm not mad at it because that's what we need, right? We need as much promo for these shows as possible so that when they come on, the people can be interested in and it can pop. But this does give away, I feel like, where the stories will go, who the alliances are with. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say alliances because they could just be good friendship. Because they are all out on their own having a good time. And I guess, these types of, events and things like that do go a long way toward promoting, oh, there is friendship within these groups. There's organic friendship within these groups. They're having fun together. They're bonding. And it is a stark contrast with what we have seen, I think, with Atlanta, wherein I don't really think it feels like the ladies are really all that close of a have all that close of a friendship, right? We've seen where they have tried to like hang out and about, but it just never gives, I feel like, as authentic. And especially because we know that, Sonya was inserted into the show, Drew was inserted into the show. And there's been a lot of talk about how Drew never really films a lot with a whole bunch of other people, with one-on-one type stuff. I mean, I think she did more so with Portia, but I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this group has a more organic friendship than the Atlanta ladies, or do you kind of feel like, I mean, it's all given for shenanigans? I mean, but I'm just saying, just based on what you think about reality TV in general, right? So are you a team A? Are you a team B? Both teams to me are looking good. All right. I mean, we got to call a thing, right? Everybody's looking good. All right. So let's move on over to Married to Medicine, because one of the things that I thought was very interesting was that Dr. Heavenly has done an interview with Dr. G's new wife, Miss Sweet Tea. Whoa, whoa, sweet thing. Don't you know you're my everything? Okay. Um, anyway, I digress majorly. Okay. So one of the things I feel like we found interesting, or at least I found interesting, at least from this clip, and I need to go back and watch the entire thing. But I did have a couple of people tag me on this. Well, I think maybe like one or two. I was tagged on like 2 posts, so let me just correct that. But what we have here is Dr. Heavenly, of course, she's also interviewed, Quad on her YouTube channel in the lead up to the show, and now and kind of like introducing Miss Sweet Tea to the group. Tisha, I think that's her name. And so one of the things I found was interesting was that Tisha has said that they had been approached to do the show before. Yeah. I guess maybe a couple of times. But because of her job, she never really wanted to do it, which I thought was interesting. So what that tells me is, if there had been an attempt to approach them to do it before, that means that I felt, this is how I feel, when everybody started posting pictures with Dr. G and Sweet Tea, I felt like that was their way of sort of pushing them to sort of like, hey, let's make this a thing, because ultimately it's going to make for some good TV. So even if Phaedra had not joined the cast of Married to Medicine, I think it still would have provided a talking point. But I think we also get the extra boost of having Phaedra there, that also adds an element of excitement to this new season, especially for those people who may have liked Married to Medicine or may not have even had Married to Medicine on their radar, but now they definitely have it on their radar, because if you were a Housewives fan, then a former housewife is now joining the cast. So I think that that's going to add a bit more flavor to it. But I found it interesting also too that Miss Sweet Tea says that it was Dr. Heavenly who encouraged her to join the show. Now, I just thought it was interesting because in the week prior to this, when we saw Quad being interviewed, Quad was saying that she felt like it was disrespectful for the network to bring Dr. G and his wife onto the show. So, in my mind, I'm like, well, does Quad feel a certain type of way about everybody being so enthusiastic about it? I feel like we didn't really get that perspective from the interview with Quad. We got the perspective of how she felt from the network. But I want to know how you feel about your friends co-signing this thing, girl. That's what I really want to know. Did you feel a type of ways? Or do they all recognize, as I assume that Dr. Heavenly does, what is going to be best for the show? And I think when you look at it from that perspective, everybody, I think, in the collective realized what could be best for the show. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That is all that we have for you guys today. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow with our Love and Marriage Huntsville recap. Definitely tune into that. tune in. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna catch you all in the next video.